If we could just learn how to do everything like Roger, everybody'd be okay. Yeah. And I would be out of a job. Some parts of this are going to be really similar relative to the drive. And it's the body parts, meaning how he uses his body. Mm-hmm. His hips are perpendicular to the baseline, and his shoulders are turned past. It's not quite as much, not on this particular one. Let's take a quick, you'll see some of them a little bit more than others. That one's pretty far. So it depends on how much energy like he's looking to send to the other side. That one's pretty far. Quite a bit. Yeah. So any that are significantly past 90 degrees, he's probably really looking to send a lot of energy through the ball. Yeah. And any that are a little bit closer to perpendicular, it's probably more of a defensive shot where he's receiving a lot of energy and all he's really focusing on is just kind of redirecting it and sending it back. Yeah. But he's always at least a little bit past 90 degrees. The other part I want you to focus on is we're going to look at his grip, and we'll see that now his knuckles are spread across the handle much more. Yeah. It's probably about 45 degrees relative to the handle. Let me see if I can find a better spot to take a look at this. You can see it up here. Around 45, somewhere about that, or 135, like whichever way you want to cut it. So now his hand is spread across the handle, and the reason why is we're not looking to lift or spin or like drive the ball anymore. We're looking to cut down past it. Yeah. He's starting well above the point of contact, and he's coming down to meet the ball. And so as he does that, look at how his racket face is open. At contact, it's going to square up, and it's going to be just about square. And then after contact, he continues pulling down and across and to the side. Yeah. So that high to low path gives the ball a lot of backspin, and the fanned knuckles help him start with an open face and then come down and bring the racket square to the ball. So those are all the things that make a slice. It's the use of the body, it's the high to low path, the grip helps enable that high to low path, and that's it in a nutshell. Notice his thumb, by the way, around the handle. Yep. Yeah. Looks like it's kind of sticking down off it, actually. I don't know if I've ever noticed that before. But he's not across the back of it. So very similar to the drive, and yet kind of the opposite, where the drive is low to high, the slice is high to low, but we're still drawing from the same power source of the shoulders going past the hips and then unwinding. Yeah. Okay, so you can probably predict yours, but yeah, in a nutshell, what's happening is basically it's like a Kevin version of like the drive, where now your knuckles are spread, but they're actually kind of up a little bit high. But I'd like your knuckles to be a little bit more towards the side of the grip. Your hand is up a little bit high, which would be better for a drive, and yet they're spread across, which isn't great for a drive. So it's kind of like a hybrid grip, and I'm pretty sure you used the same one for both. Yeah, so this is where we want it for the slice. Yeah. And then the drive is a little bit higher and straighter. Yeah. Okay. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So just like your drive, your shoulders are parallel to your hips, which means the arm is going to have to do a lot of work. And also, like your drive, you're kind of coming high to low, but it's not much. It's very straight. And so if you look at your thumb is pointing again. And you can see how, also like your drive, there's like a flourish at the end with your arm and your hand which tells me that it was your arm and your hand that got the racket out there in the first place. And so it's like the slowdown of like the flip, you know, of your arm and your hand. We're seeing it like after contact. And so that tells me that this is really overactive. Yeah. And it's because this is underactive. Yeah. Okay. So this would be just like your drive, just the slice version of it. Okay. Any questions about it? Pretty straightforward. Yeah. So let's learn how to do this. Okay. Like Roger. If we could just learn how to do everything like Roger, yeah, everybody'd be okay. Yeah. And I would be out of a job. Just like the drive, Kevin, I want you to practice going from ready position to coil position. Yep. So your new coil position, your shoulders are past your hips, and your racket's now going to be up above your right shoulder. I'm sorry, your left shoulder. Yep. Keep doing what you're doing. And I want you to focus on letting your arm and your hand be a little bit more passive. And just let your body pull them instead of trying to like do anything in particular with your arm and your hand. Great. Check this out. So now, huge coil. Probably not, we don't even need that much for majority of shots, but I like seeing a little bit of exaggeration out of the gate because it gives us some room to meet in the middle. Sure. Like the grip position here. Hand is obviously spread across the handle. This looks like continental grip to me. Your hand's not so high up on the grip anymore. And we're starting in a higher position, which means we'll have more drop down towards contact. That's what's going to create the backspin. And now, I just want you to look at how, this is a great example. I asked you to be a little bit more passive with the arm and the hand. Yeah. And so I'm going to play it in half speed. And I want you to watch how the arm and the hand are just kind of getting let go. So you're no longer swinging actively with your arm and your hand. Instead, they're just dropping and falling. Yeah. And it's mostly the unwinding of your body that's adding energy and like force to it. That should be the distribution of work here. Yeah. It's like 95 here and like 5% here. If it starts feeling like 50-50, then we got something going on. Like this probably isn't doing its job, and so this feels like, oh crap, I gotta start working hard. Right. And that's not the way you want to play tennis, unless you're into pain and frustration. Which, you know, that's your thing. That's no judgment. All right. Any questions here? No. Make sense? Uh-huh. All right. Let's do it. Just one note here, Kevin. Yeah. I saw this pop up a little bit earlier, and it just started coming back again. It's definitely worth noting. When you watch Roger hit any of these slices, because these are backspin shots, and the way backspin is created is by starting above contact and coming down to contact. Once the racket clears this point, there's nothing else to do. Right. And so the edge of his racket that led on the way down, this edge, continues to lead and stay in front the whole way through. So there isn't any turning or twisting because the ball's gone. We've already accomplished, And what I've seen you sneak in here a little bit, you're doing it right now. There you go. That's better. Yeah, right. Check this out. You're copying Roger in setup and grip and coil and drop, and that front edge of the racket is leading down to contact. That's about where contact would be. And now watch what happens after the hit. And so now the other side of the racket is leading because you've twisted your forearm and your racket. Right, exactly, yeah. So whether you realize, the original reason why I asked you to keep your arm and hand passive was because you were adding that flip at the end.
Huh.
And I was trying to get you to not flip it without really drawing your attention to it.
Huh. Okay.
But it snuck back in again. So we don't want any active forearm or wrist flipping of the racket. Okay. If the hand and wrist is going to do anything, it's going to be in this direction on the way down, not in this direction.
Okay.
Yep, that's right. All right, let's do 2 shadows and then we'll hit 4 balls. I just want you to focus on doing it the same way. Same coil, same height with your take back. Ready? Coil. Good. Same coil. Coil. I like the coil, Kevin. Table tennis is sneaking in. Yeah. It's kind of a hybrid. I'm really curious to look at it slowly. I like the first one the best. Look at what happened here. So here's your first hit. Coil looks great. I like the starting position. Your hand, I'm pretty sure has snuck, I can tell because of the angle of the racket face is more closed now. We actually want the strings to be facing up or maybe even slightly in towards the back of your head. But the fact that they're facing back tells me that you've snuck your handle a little bit more towards the top of the handle, and that closes the racket face.
Okay.
So that's maybe connected to what I'm seeing with your swing. This is the best one. So after all those shadows and all that talk, this one was really nice. I like it a lot. Now I want you to look at the difference between that and the last one. Coil is still there. Yeah, it looks like you're almost trying to square the racket face. And so on your way down, you're attacking the ball straight. You're bringing your racket down first, behind the ball, and then with a square face, watch how you cut to the side now at the end. And there's this twist out.
Yeah.
And is that table tennis or no?
Probably a little bit, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah.
Look at your wrist and your hand here.
Yeah. Okay.
And you're curling it around. And so 2 things. Let me show you side by side real quick. First of all, we want contact to be made with the racket on the way down. Mm-hmm. And that last one that you hit, you started high. Yeah. Look at the difference in the angle of the strings, by the way. It's almost 180 degrees. Roger's hitting surface is here, and your hitting surface is there. And I can't quite figure out. Look at the back of your hand and the back of his hand. I think that's most of it. So it's not all grip. He's raising the back of his hand, kind of pointing towards his left ear.
Yeah.
Whereas you like to take it back more this way.
Right.
And I think that just kind of is connected to your the ping pong finish, where look at your swing path. You're dropping first,
very straight,
behind the ball. Yeah, and so you end up actually hitting the ball with a direct. It's kind of a drivey shot actually. Yeah. And then after the hit, you do the curly cue the table tennis finish.
Right.
Whereas he's setting everything right here and then just letting it fall, and he's just letting it drop. And so he's taking a straight line down to the ball instead of taking any left-hand turns or flips or twists or. Yeah, that's right. We actually want to make it much more simple than what you're doing.
Yeah.
Let's get the back of your hand facing your ear a little bit more. Yep, and then just right down to the ball. Yep. Going back to the middle service line, please. Let's practice that a few times. Back of the hand towards your ear. That's right. And then right down to the ball. That's right. Look at how much more simple this looks. This looks like a slice now. Take back. Look at the difference in your strings and your hand. And so from here, you're unwinding and just dropping your racket right at where the ball would be. This is how a slice is hit. So no detours and then redirections, no flips or watch the end here. How you just keep it consistent. Got a little bit of flip at the end, but I'm okay with that. No like curling or twisting or that's what we want. All right, 4 balls out, same way. Back of the hand to the ear. It's better. Still added some twist at the end. Show me a shadow again. Back of the hand to the ear. And then unwind and let the racket fall straight down. That's right. 2 more of those. 1 more. Ready? Back of the hand to the ear. Straight down. You just, yeah, just the, it gets more and more flourishy. Like if I don't stop you, it keeps getting more and more creative the longer you go. The first one was pretty good. The first one was pretty clean, and all your shadows look good. Like, and that's just how this goes. So shadows are real simple, real clean. Yeah, you got a little bit of extra supination at the end with your forearm. But here's your first hit. I like this setup a lot more. But look at how you're rolling your wrist here a little bit. You see the angle of your racket? And so that's kind of where it starts. But you got it under control there. This is better. Good. You're kind of curling your arm in. Yeah, okay. The angle here, though, of attack is much, much better. That's what a slice should actually be like. Watch this last one. It just got progressively more and more creative until, like, watch the wrist and the racket on this one is actually going to turn to face the back wall quite a bit initially. And so that's when you start to drop it lower first. And this is your old habit now. And now watch the finish. I don't know where that's coming from. Like you're like twisting it back the other way. There's some old table tennis gremlins in there. Yeah. What resonated with you before, the idea of the passive arm and hand, is what we're actually looking for here. And you're adding extra stuff on the front end, and you're also adding extra stuff on the back end. And we're looking to just drop and let the hand alone. Like we're not looking to actively do anything with the hand. 2 more shadows, please. The passive hand. Yep, no extra movement. And now I'm going to leave my racket here, and I want you to just tap your strings against the edge of my racket.
Like that?
Yep, but do the whole motion.
Do the whole motion?
Yeah. So do a backhand slice and just tap my racket. Gently, gently, gently.
I don't know.
There you go, yep. But now do the whole thing. So right off the bat, you're doing it differently. Just because your brain, oh crap, it wasn't recording. As soon as your hand hit my racket, it went back into creative mode. And it stopped being passive. 1 more of those. Nice. And now tap my racket, please, gently. Good. Good. Do 2 more of those, please. Good. 1 more of those. Good. Much better. Better passive hand. Good. Now do 3 shadows for me. Focus on keeping your hands still and relaxed. Yep. This is your body doing the swing here. It's not your hand. And now 3 taps. Same thing. Okay, and now 3 hits, the same thing. Same motion. Ready? Yeah.
I'll get it.
Yeah, you will. Wow. That's pretty good. I didn't think this was going to be a tough one, but it is. So watch your hand. That's a really nice one. That's exactly what we want it to look like when the ball is there. There's no flipping or twisting or flexing or like no extra stuff. Watch your hand and your racket face.
Okay.
Let's see how you do with my racket there. Watch your hand again. That was a clean one. Good, good. Now let's skip that first one. But actually, it's worth watching. Watch what happens when you weren't quite sure what it was going to be like yet. I didn't really give you any heads up. And so watch what happens when you swing and you realize the ball is not going to be there. Look at what happens with your hand.
Oh, yeah.
And so that doesn't even make any sense, like because like the motion of the swing's not even going that way.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, as soon as you get a little bit uncertain about the environment, that your hand and your forearm like ramps way up in intensity and speed.
Okay.
So you get used to it, but I just want you to watch the difference. Watch your hand again. You see how there's a little bit of extra like tension there?
Yeah.
And it's just more like flexing. And so this is going to be an ongoing process for you to. That was a pretty good one. That was by far your best hit. That was the most passive your hand was. There's no extra flipping or twisting up there. You turned a corner here a little bit instead of going down towards it, but not bad. And you kept your hand nice and still and passive there. That's what we want. It's going to be an ongoing process for you to quiet this and rely on this. That's how it's going to get good. But the more you let this freelance and like bring extra like style points to the table, the tougher it's going to be consistent. All right, give me a couple of gentle taps here. Good. Passive hand. Passive hand. Good. 2 more of those. Good. 1 more. All right, a couple hits now. Hand is passive. That's nice. Good. Keep it steady and still. Body is delivering the power. Yeah, good. Good job. Good job. It's kind of a tricky thing to change because you didn't know you did it in the first place.
No.
So it's like a dual thing. Like you have to feel that you're doing it and then not do it at the same time.
Yeah.
It's actually a really hard thing to do. Good. Great. That's really nice. That's the last one you just hit. So watch it in real time here. And just watch how it's mostly body. It's half speed. And the arm is just kind of it's getting pulled along by the body.
Yeah.
It's not its own actor. I mean, it is a little bit, but we're looking to rebalance it. I want you to look at how big of an improvement it is. So look at the old setup.
Yeah.
It really doesn't even look like a slice setup.
No.
I mean, even after 2 years of playing tennis, you probably recognize that, just like aesthetically. Like this, you can tell it's what's gonna happen. That's the setup you have.
Yeah.
Yeah, the old setup just really didn't make any sense for a slice. So it's the open face, it's the height of preparation. And so because of the lack of height, you were going really direct and straight at it. And now we're coming down to contact. That's what's going to actually make backspin. It's really not possible to make a lot of backspin this way. And now watch the hand here. just be along for the ride compared to the Ginsu finish. It's kind of impressive. I mean, a lot of style points. Like you get a 10 for style points. But yeah, this is just kind of improvised. Frankly, I think 90% of this is table tennis.
Yeah.
And then like you kind of improvised it a little bit for tennis.
Yeah.
And within the context of this much space to carry and cover, we just can't rely so much on the smaller stuff.